Hello, bonjour, bienvenidos, benvenuti, welcome to the Music Polyglot channel. Today we're learning Orange Show Speedway by Lizzy McAlpine. We're going to try and get as close as we can to the way it sounds on the record. And we're going to do that in a close-up. So the first thing we need to talk about is the tuning. This is a type of dad-fad tuning, which is a favorite of Lizzy's, except that this is a whole semitone, i.e. half a step lower than the regular dad-fad. So the notes from low to high are C sharp, G sharp, C sharp, F, G sharp, and C sharp. Remember that you're tuning everything down. Quick note on this, if you watch Lizzy playing this live, you'll see that she often uses a capo either on the first or on the second frets. This is because she actually tunes her guitar a half step lower than we are tuned now, i.e. in an open C tuning, because a bunch of her other songs are in that sort of tuning. So I suppose it's just a matter of practicity for her to use one of those guitars that's tuned to an open C tuning and just capo it on fret 1 to play this song. Now, you don't have to do that. If you tune to this tuning, you'll be tuned to the track and most of the live versions as well. Okay, so big disclaimer for this song. This is a bit of a departure from the way I usually do Lizzy McAlpine songs, in which we try to get as close as possible to what she does when she plays these songs live. Orange Show Speedway is considerably different as a live performance than it is on the recording. I think that the recording is incredibly rich and there are things that we should try and preserve. So we're actually going to try and get as close as we can to what we hear on the record, for which we're going to have to kind of compromise on two things. First, we're going to play with a pick, so not like Lizzy. Lizzy plays with her fingers, especially index and thumb, right? You know what I mean? And the second thing is that in the chorus, we're going to be playing a composite part, i.e. we're going to be merging two guitar parts that you hear on the recording, one acoustic, one electric, into one part to give us the full spectrum of that really nice and bright, poppy, happy sounding chorus that we get in the recording. Okay, so that's my disclaimer done. Enjoy. So let's have a look at that intro and verse. Let me play for you once so that you can see what's going on. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll slow it down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. Okay, we're going to break this up into two parts. First, let's talk about the chords. We have 4 chords in these two sections. Chord number 1 is just the open bottom 3 strings, i.e. the 6th, 5th, and 4th. It gives you a C sharp power chord. Chord number 2, you're going to use your index and middle finger on the 7th fret on string 6 and 5. And you're also going to be catching the open 4th, right? Chord number 3 is going to be the exact same shape, but 2 frets higher, i.e. on the 9th fret. And again, you're going to be catching the 4th string open. And finally, you're going to be going down to the 5th fret, same shape again. And again, you're going to be catching the 4th string open. Notice how you can use the dots on your guitar to navigate those chords. Open, 7th fret, which is a dot, 9th fret, which is also a dot, and then 5th fret, which is also a dot. Now let's talk about the rhythm here. As you could probably tell, the basic rhythm is quite simple in that we're playing an 8th note based pattern. What does that mean? That means that we have our beat, let's say here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to be strumming down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Or if we count that, that would be counted as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The crucial thing to understand is how your right hand, if you're right-handed, your strumming hand rather, goes down on the beat, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it goes up on that upstroke. Well, yeah, it goes up on that upbeat right in the middle of your beats. So we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? That's the basic pattern. Now, you are palm muting. Remember that to palm mute, you use this part of your hand against the bridge, which is this whole part of your guitar down here. You really want to have that part of your hand almost right on your saddle. Your saddle is that plastic, white plastic, long bar over there, right? You're going to have that heel of your hand down there. You're only strumming the bottom 3 strings. So here comes the tricky part, the harmonic rhythm, or where the chords change. We're going to have to do a little bit of counting to get this right, okay? So keep an eye on your tab, which is right here, and see if this makes sense. So we said that we have those 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You see how that and of 4, i.e. the last strum, the last few notes on the first bar, is tied to the first beat of the next bar. And that's where the chord change happens. Well, that means that we're going to have to change on the and of 4. That's the first idea. Let's see how that would work. So remember, chord number 1, open, chord number 2, 7th fret, and we're going to go to that second chord on the and of 4. Remember that all ands are upstrokes. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, let's do that a bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Cool. Bit faster. 2. That's what it would sound like. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, let's focus on the second bar. So on the second bar, we're not going to play the 1. We're just going to play the and, 2, and. The whole first bar with the chord change up to the middle of the second bar would go like this in terms of counting. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and. Okay? And that means that you play exactly what I counted, i.e. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and. Okay? I'll play that one more time without the counting so that you can hear it. So here it goes. Okay? And then you're going to slide up 2 frets. And we're not going to play that 3 either. Right? We're just going to play the and 4 and. A similar type of thing, but you're connecting your 7th fret to your 9th while sliding like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 4 and. And again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2. Okay, now without the counting, so just so you can hear the chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. All right. You may have to go back over the rhythm a couple of times to get it right. It is worth taking it slowly in order to get it right. I promise you it's going to take you less time to actually break it down like we did with the counting and the slowing down. It's going to take you less time to do that than trying to get to it by trial and error, and it's going to be a lot less frustrating as well. The last thing to mention about this rhythm here, I know it's a bit tricky, is that you have accents actually. You can see those little kind of arrowheads on top of some notes. Those are accents, which mean that you have to play those notes louder. So it's not really 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, but 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? Those accents. So just the guitar would be. And then you come and land on the 5th fret. And now this is actually nice and straightforward because it's just a quaver-based rhythm with the accents on 2 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Right? This is nice and straightforward. 2 bars on that chord. One last time through the whole sequence. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the sequence in the intro and the 3 first times during the verse. At the end of every verse, the sequence changes just a little bit. And instead of going the way that we just saw, it goes 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what was that? That's fret 7 for a whole bar. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then you go up to fret 9 where you play 1 and 2, right? So just down, up, down. And then you change, you come down to fret 4, which is a new chord, fret 4. And you land there on the and of 2, which is an upstroke. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and on the and of 4 we're up on the 5th fret again to play our last 2 bars, which actually stops right before the end of the bar. It stops right before the 4th beat, so on the and of 3 like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now without the counting. Let's move on to the pre-chorus. So how's it going so far? Don't forget that if you contact me through my website, to which I'll leave a link in the description below, you can have a completely free one-on-one video call lesson on this song with me. The good news for the pre-chorus is that we have no new chords. It's just the rhythm that's different. Let me play it for you once so that you can see what's going on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slow. Alright, so we start off on the 7th fret, same chord shape as always. So here we go, 1 and 3 and 4. Okay, as you can see, we have a lot of ands are upstrokes. So 1 and 3 and 4. And when we go to fret 9, which is our 2nd chord, we do the same thing as we did in the verses, i.e. we slide up and we don't play the 3rd beat in this case. Check it out slowly. Right, my hand still goes down, but I don't strum. And I'll just catch the... And then you move down to the 5th fret and you do exactly the same thing, but between the 5th and 4th frets like this. Right? So same rhythm. 1 and 2. 1 and. Then you play the first bit again. with the 7th fret to the 9th. And when you go down to the 5th fret again, you actually stop on the 2nd bar. So 1 and 1 and 1. Right, you don't play the 2nd bar. It's just the first one. 1 and 1. Cool. You'll notice when you pay attention to the record, and if you saw me playing earlier, that there's a couple of chickas here and there. Chickas meaning, you know, that quick down up on a muted string that you use sometimes to move between chord and chord. For example, all that kind of thing. Now, this is something that will come naturally to you as you get used to moving from chord to chord. So this is not something that I would deliberately practice on its own. It's something that should come to you naturally. Let's move on to the chorus. Okay, so here is where I'm going to take a little bit of a liberty, and I'm going to show you a composite part, which means that we're going to be merging two guitar parts together. The acoustic guitar that you hear on the record together with one of the electrics. And this is if you want to recreate the really open poppy sound that you get on the studio recording. You can play this part and it will give you the rhythm guitar part together with this other electric guitar part that really opens everything up. Check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slow. Now this is the main reason why I'm playing with a pick. Now if you want to play like Lizzy, then you wouldn't use a pick, you would just use your thumb and index to strum, and you get that more of a darker character that you can actually hear conveyed really well on the recording. So what's going on in the choruses? It's actually the same chord sequence as in the verses, right? So open. Except that now you want to strum more strings. So we're going to aim at strumming the bottom 4. And we go. Right, so 2 strums, and we try and catch the 1st and 2nd strings. And those are going to be upstrokes, both of them. And then you have that 4 and, which is down up. So that would be 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and. Okay, you do that once. You land on the 7th fret. And you actually do the exact same thing as you did in the verses, in that you're sliding, right, to get to the 9th fret, and you don't play the note where you land on the 9th fret, right? So that would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then you come and land on the 5th fret, where you would actually do the exact same thing as you did on the first bar, so with the open 1st and 2nd. Twice. And that's your chorus. Speedway. Right? You play that 4 times, and then you come down to the 2nd fret, and you just go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 up to the 5th, 2, 3 and 4, and then again 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then to the 5th you stay here another bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're back to the 2nd verse after the first chorus. Hey, remember that if you need tabs, all that and more is available to all my Patreons on my Patreon page, link in the description. So that the beginning of the second verse is ever so slightly different rhythmically, right? It's exactly the same chords with the same chord changes in the exact same way, except that you're not playing everything, you're just playing where the chords change, right? You're playing stabs. But if you got the first verse, it's not going to be a problem at all. It's basically the same thing. Having said that, remember that you have the tabs and you have the possibility of getting a free lesson on this if you contact me through my website below. And the tabs are on the Patreon page also below. The one thing that we do need to talk about is the very last chorus at the end of the song once it goes really mellow. And this is because the strumming becomes a little bit more hybrid. It's not just strumming, but it becomes a little bit more of a kind of half strumming, half picking type of thing, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slow. Cool. All right. So there, same chords, open C sharp first. Now instead of doing that, instead of strumming, you play the same rhythm, 1, 2, and 4, and except that you pick the individual notes, the bottom 3 strings. That's 6th, 5th, 4, 5th, 6th, 5th. That's it. Then you move on to the second chord where you actually do go back to strumming, but a lot more quietly. And also, you pay special attention to the 5th string rather than the 6th. So you really want to hear that slide up on the 5th string. Right? Remember that this is the same, you change chords in the same way as you did in the first chorus, i.e. by sliding. And when you go down to the 5th fret, so the last chord in the chorus, you go back to this single string picking. 1, 2, and 4, and 6th, 5th, 4, 5th, 6th, 5th. And that's twice around. Quick note on the very end when you go, right, when you go from 2nd to 5th, you stay in the 5th fret 3 bars every time this time around. That's the only difference. Same thing, but you're staying on the 5th fret for 3 bars every time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, and then again. Etc, etc. So how's that? I hope that is useful. If it was, don't forget to give the video a like and to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for staying till the end and see you next time. Hasta la próxima. Arrivederci. Au revoir.